Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Good day on this Saturday. Glad to have you guys here. Welcome to the show. Uh, well, man, we got monkeypox out there. It says failure to deal with the monkeypox outbreak is a risk not just for Africa, but for the whole world. So we got this virus, and a lot of people don't really understand it well, but it's related to smallpox. In fact, it's so closely related to smallpox that that they can use the vaccines, but it's not smallpox. It's monkeypox. But it's not the monkeypox we were dealing with before. This is a different clade. This is a new clade. I guess it's clade 1B. This is new clade. And it's made a public health emergency. They've declared an international public health emergency. So they're dealing with 18,700 cases of it, and there's over 500 deaths. So what's that, around 3%, something like that? What can I say? I mean, this is a very dangerous variant of this particular virus. Evidently, I mean, what we're looking at worldwide with this thing, I mean, we got a case that's popped up now in Sweden. And we got them saying now, what is it saying here? Deadly Mpox variant likely. It says likely already in the UK, but I don't think it is really. It says a deadlier variant of monkeypox is tearing through Africa and is very likely already in the UK, an expert has warned. So it's not in the UK, but this expert says that it's very likely could be there. Well, if that's the case, it could likely be in other countries as well, but they wouldn't know for a little while, according to him. It says a UK health security agency said there are currently no cases of the virus here in the United Kingdom, and that the danger to the British population is considered low. But Professor Paul Hunter has said that we won't know for sure if monkeypox is already here until at least a few weeks. He says when somebody gets an infection, it typically takes several days before they develop the classic appearance that would make people think, oh, this is monkeypox, he told the news. And it can take longer before the samples are taken and sent to the lab. So it's not in the United Kingdom right now. But according to this expert, he says it's likely already in the United Kingdom. Well, I don't know. No sense to get all frightened because we don't know. There's so much we don't know about this yet. So don't go saying, oh, it's in the United Kingdom. No, it's not in the United Kingdom. But this expert's saying it's likely already in the United Kingdom, according to him. But I've heard of no verified cases. The only case we've got of this outside Africa is in, I guess, verified cases, is in Sweden. But I'm very concerned about this thing spreading, because we all know what happens. We all know from COVID. You get isolated cases. One pop up here, one pop up there, one pop up someplace else. And then later, what happens when what we learned from COVID was that those isolated cases then turn into clusters. So you get a cluster here, a cluster there, a cluster someplace else. And then a few weeks later, that turns into community spread. Boom. It goes boom. Turns into community spread. We've all seen that from COVID. So that's what we're watching for. So right now, we do have a case in Sweden. This guy's saying likely already in the United Kingdom, but it's not in the United Kingdom. But we do have a case in Sweden. These are isolated cases. Will we see it the next step appear, which would be clusters of isolated cases, or cases of clusters of cases. We're going to have to wait and see if that happens. If that happens, though, that would be very unnerving. If that happens, let's just put it that way. But we're going to have to wait on that to see if that happens. So, I mean, how does it? We don't know. There's so many things we don't know about this yet. We don't know how. We don't know how contagious it is, and this would be the real issue. What's the RO value? They're not telling us yet. So we don't know how contagious it is. How easily is it spread? We don't know yet. You know? So there's a lot of unknown variables about this yet. There's a lot of... there's an old saying, you know, it's many a slip twixt cup and lip. And so they might get this thing under control. It might not be as contagious as some of these others, but then again, on the other side of that coin is maybe it is. Like I say, we just don't know yet. Now, do they show a picture here? I thought, yeah, there's a picture. Just so you guys know, that's what it looks like. You break out in lumps everywhere, these bumps. They're called pox, the bumps. They look a lot like a pimple. A big pimple. That's what they kind of look like, you know. But they're not pimples, they're pox. And this is not a real extreme example. I've seen some really extreme examples. This is a very mild example of what it looks like, but this is what it looks like, and it's very, very, when people come down with this thing and they've got these pox, you can spot them a mile away. Just saying. Now, Florida is being hit right now with the worst real estate crisis in decades. Oh, by the way, guys, we're going to keep our eye on this monkeypox really closely. And what we're looking for at this point is we're seeing the isolated cases like the one in Sweden. That's the first one. Maybe we'll see more. That's not a reason for big-time concern. I'll get way more concerned if we start to get clusters. I'll be way more concerned. In other words, a cluster is like you get a guy comes in, he flies in from Africa or whatever, you know, and then maybe 3, 4, 5 people, wherever he lands, whatever country he lands in, start to come down with it, and they don't know who they were in contact with and everything, and that kind of thing. When it starts to get to that stage right there, then we start to think, hey, you know what, this is bad, this is bad. But we're not there. Definitely not there. All we have right now is just one isolated case, the verified case in Sweden, you know. And so don't be too overly concerned with this thing yet. It might just pass off and go away, and you might not hear from it again, you know. And anyway, changing subject. In Florida, they've got the worst real estate crisis in decades. Condos are just, the bottom's dropping out of the condo prices. So we got one condo listed here, 3-bedroom, 2-bath condo in St. Petersburg. It was listed at $1.2 million at the start of the year, so in January. Then they dropped the price down to $898,000, which is a significant drop from $1.2 million. And now they've dropped it down to $715,000, almost dropping it in half, cutting the price in half. Does this tell you which way the direction of real estate's going? But this is in Florida, this is happening, and not all across the country. But it just takes one seller out there. You know, you got your community, a whole bunch of houses for sale. All the houses are right around $1 million a piece. One dry drops his price down to $700,000. Right? And the next thing you know, another guy follows suit. Then a new price is set. It's not $1 million per house anymore. Now it's $700,000. And once all the houses are $700,000, and they're still not selling, then some guy drops it down to 500,000 and you get your real estate prices cut in half. And it can happen that way so quick. Taking a look now into Russia. It says we are on the verge of a third world war. The Russian member of parliament, Mikhail Shermat, has made a frightening statement in his response to the intensifying war offensive along the Russian-Ukrainian border. So he's talking about the cursed border region where the Russians, I guess, not the Russians, but the Ukrainians have just pushed straight through the Russian border inside Russia, and now of occupying territory inside Russia. Quite a large territory too, over 1,000 square kilometers. Which I'm just not exactly sure. I'm just saying, could they use that as a staging ground? And now that's a question I'm asking. And now the United States is going to provide these JASSM missiles, which I've never heard of before until this morning. I didn't know what they looked like. Now I know what they look like. There's one sitting right there in front of you, so you can see what it looks like. And it can carry a 450 kilogram payload. Is it 450 kilograms or 450 pounds? Just a second here. Okay, 450 kilogram warhead. So that's roughly 2.2 pounds per kilogram. So that's over 1,000 pounds it can carry. 370 kilometer range. I thought they said that they weren't going to give Ukraine any long range stuff. And there you go. Now they're going to provide them with these JASSM missiles. And the thing is, not only can it travel this long range of 370 kilometers, but also where's it saying it here? It can, it says, during flight, it moves at subsonic speeds, and stealth characteristics make its detection and destruction very difficult. So it can go through the air defense systems and stuff and make it to its target. And another question I have is that 450 kilogram warhead, what kind of warheads can they use? Can they use, dare I say it? Who knows? You know? But at any rate, there you go. They're going to give them long-range missiles, I guess. Well, I consider that long range, 370 kilometers. That's like over 250 miles. You know, and it's not that far from the border of Ukraine deep into Russian territory. I don't even think Moscow is that far away from Ukraine. Is it? How far away? And now over in Iran right now, they're postponing their response to Israel. It says Iran is likely to delay its planned retaliation against Israel. So they're working on something over there in Iran, and they haven't got around to it yet. What are they working on? Well, according to the New York Times, they say the reason for the ongoing ceasefire negotiations in Gaza is what they're doing. And I'm just not so sure. I don't know what they're doing. I got my ideas what they're doing. Oh my goodness. Autoimmune diseases are on the rise, and you know what they're saying? These experts, they're saying that these are occurring in people far more often than researchers ever thought. Well, I'm just wondering to myself, are they occurring far more than we ever thought after 2020 or before 2020? And what happened in 2020? What happened? Something happened to change us all in 2020. And could that be something to do with these autoimmune diseases? Just wondering, you know. I have questions. Now, this deadlier monkeypox, can you imagine? Let's just hope that stuff doesn't get out. It scares me because it's too much like smallpox. That's why it really scares me. You know, the milkmaids back when they had smallpox a long time ago, the milkmaids weren't coming down with it or dying. They didn't understand why. Well, it's because the cows have something called cowpox, and the milkmaids, the cowpox inoculated them. That's why they kept from catching the. And one thing about this is that smallpox inoculations, I guess, do work on this. So maybe they can inoculate people for this to keep them from catching it. If this thing does go big, let's just hope it doesn't. Because I don't know. They would never be if it did. Just for the sake of theoretically say, what if it did start to become an actual pandemic worldwide? Uh, I mean, how long would it take them to get people inoculated? I don't know. And anyway, listen, let's hope we don't have to go there. I don't want to see another pandemic. I really don't. Thank you guys for listening to my show. You guys have a great afternoon and have a great weekend. And we'll catch you guys. I'll catch my members probably tomorrow, and I'll catch you guys on Monday. And you have a great weekend. Bye bye.